Hello new or returning players, welcome back to the world of Arcadia. Today guys, we're going to talk about the April balance patch tier list. So we're going to go over all of the classes specs and everything like that, and place them in a tier list based on how good their minimum damage is in a raid. Why we're making this kind of tier list is because not of course everyone is going to be able to perform top tier damage when they're first playing a raid, but they still want to contribute as much as possible. So this whole tier list is going to be based on the floor of a class, so the minimum amount of damage that you're going to be dealing, but as well we'll be telling you guys of course if maybe a class is still really hard, or as well which classes are going to be really good even as a top tier DPSer. So here we have the tier list guys. Thanks so much for watching. No, this is not it per se. So what I've done for this is a tier list based on the actual damage numbers for Belshazzar Gate 2 at hard mode. This is going to be at a 1680 item level. You may be like, okay, this is a new returning player guide. Why are you making a tier list based on classes that are this high eye level? Because of Remeria is coming this month. Remeria adds in a final enlightenment potion, which is an arc passive skill potion that gives us the ability to get our 4th class node on the arc passive. This is currently only able to be obtained by 1670 plus characters, but after Remeria comes out, you can get it on a fresh tier 4 character. So a lot of classes change their damage tremendously when we get to this stage. So I think it's very important to look at that, because that's what's literally going to be the meta in around like 2 weeks in the game. So first up, this is going to be a tier list currently based fully on damage alone. If we can grab the damage statistics, it's literally going to be a copy paste from all of these back into a image factor. First of all, we have ourselves perfect suppression Shadow Hunter, then we have ourselves sharpshooter Loyal Companion, then we have both gunslinger specs, which is kind of interesting. Then we have ourselves pistolier from Deadeye, we have ourselves the Arthenian skill, I'm pretty sure it's called. Then we have ourselves communication overflow summoner, we have Emperor and Mayhem and Lunar Voice for the top 10. So looking at these, I get why they are so high on minimum damage, because these classes are not that hard to do a minimum with. They're very spammy, or they have some abilities that you don't even have to take yourself. Like for example, you have Loyal Companion, which your bird is doing a lot of damage. We have Communication Overflow, where your pets are doing a lot of damage. So I get from these that they're actually really high. But I feel like some of these classes actually still are crazy to decide. It shows of course how strong they are at the minimum points, but they still could be very hard. We're going to start and reorder stuff a little bit, and I'm going to take a look first off at the top 30, 40 and the rest. Is there any of these I think should go a little bit higher just based on how easy they are? I think the first thing that comes to mind is going to be Reflux. I don't think Reflux deserves to be this low. I think it's actually more of a top 10 class right now, and I think I'm going to drop Lunar down to top 30. The reason why I'm swapping these two is because Reflux actually is just literally spam your buttons. That's literally what it is. They just spam your buttons. There's not really a real rotation, so you can't really go wrong. Of course, its sorcery is a bit squishy, but I think Reflux definitely deserves a decent top 10 spot as a easy or new returning class to play. What's nice about this is, well, once you get really good at the class, you can even swap to Igniter, which is a hard class to play if you want to go do that. And I think that option is actually really nice. If you later on you think you've improved, you can swap over to the harder spec compared to the easier one. I think War Dancer and Pinnacle should be swapped as well, so that's what I'm going to do. I think War Dancer is still going to be pretty easy to play, has great synergy, people love you in your parties, and Pinnacle is a back attack class. You have to charge up some skills. I think it doesn't deserve to be in the top 20 for a new player. And even though the damage is low, I'm going to grab Gun Lancer, Blue Lancer, and put it at the top. And the reason for that is going to be super simple. Blue Lancer is a more supportive class, but oh my god, people love Gun Lancers in the game, and I definitely think it should be there. And I'm gonna drop, I think, Peacemaker then to the top 40. Peacemaker is, you have to swap between 3 guns, and I think that's already not really friendly for a new player. Like, of course, maybe you can spam some stuff, but I still think that it's quite hard. But do I? No, actually, no, we're gonna swap it like this. I think like it'd rather be Time to Hunt at the bottom and Peacemaker. Maybe just swap them a little bit like this. Firepower to top 10. Yeah, let's just do that right now, and these two can be at the bottom, because super simple. Firepower again is just spamming buttons. It's very easy. There's nothing really you have to think about, but the swapping between weapons, I cannot put it in the top 10. It's way too hard for new players. Is there any class I'm missing at the bottom tier, the rest tier? So of course we have ourselves both support specs. Like we have some Rage Hammer, we have Red Gun Lancer. I think Red Gun Lancer again is really hard. Front attacking is one of the hardest things to do. We have some gravity training. I think control definitely doesn't deserve a rest spot. I think just controls images that its damage is not that high. Of course, the bases on this tier list, like it's easy but damage as well, so I don't think it goes a little bit higher. Maybe it should swap like with Surge, for example, something like this, but I think it's fine there. We have BT. We have, of course, as well, we have Emperor. We have, wait, Emperors and Emperors. I think I actually swapped them around. Sorry. It should be like this. I'm very sorry. Look at it, all of these. So look at the top 20. I think Wind Fury deserves to go up a little bit, and Wind Fury, of course, suffers from the same issue as the Blue Gun Lancer, because Blue Gun Lancer's issue is that it is more of a supportive class, and Wind Fury is that as well. So Wind Fury, of course, is gonna not deal the top 1 of damage, so that's why it's a little bit lower. So I'm gonna move it to the top 10. So which one am I taking out of top 10? And I think for me, that's an easy choice. I know even if it's number 1, it's number 1 right now. Perfect Suppression. It's dropping to the top 20, and the reason why it's dropping to top 20 is of actually, I'm a little bit double right now, because the issue with Perfect Suppression is there's 2 builds. You have a back attack build, which I think is really hard for new players, but as well has a build that you don't have to back attack, but I don't know if it's stronger than the other one. But we're at the bottom now, so we're just gonna do that. I'm just gonna drop these up a little bit as well. I think a little bit like this, because there's still cards involved for Emperor. I think this is a little bit more what I was envisioning. I think Predator Slayer actually is doing really well as well, but Predator Slayer still has the issue that it's back attack, so I'm gonna drop it a few tiers because of that reason. It is still very strong now though. It's very strong. We have Wild Soul as well. I think Wild Soul can definitely move up to the top of top 20. It's still a little bit difficult. There is some more rotation stuff and things you have to think about, so it's not the easiest class, but I think it definitely, because of its damage, deserves to be around there. This is what I would go with. So we have ourselves our top 10 is gonna be Mayhem Berserker. We have ourselves Communication Overflow Summoner. I never thought I would put this spec this high, and again, guys, I know you guys are gonna be clowning on me for these rate statistics for putting this thing so high, but it's actually doing very decent currently. And if you don't believe me, literally this is the tier list right now for all the specs, and literally that standard Communication Overflow is right there. And if you then look for Master Summoner, it's at the bottom. So if you don't believe me, numbers do not lie. So looking at this tier list, what would I recommend you playing? Because of course we have this right now, and I think it always looks very nice, but you know, there is a personal recommendation as well, because I have played this game since the start, and I know what feels right and what maybe feels a little bit wrong as well. And as well, what is maybe going to be a good transition character to get into the end game and actually do top tier damage. I think that's very important as well. You know, you have to make sure that you can as well do good damage in the future. So we're going to swap some stuff around. I am going to go ahead and go put Mayhem and Reflux at the top, because I think Mayhem is currently very strong, even in endgame, even in highest tier of content, and as the also DPS skill is doing really good. Reflux I put at top 10 is because, like I said, you can transition from Reflux to Igniter if you want to, and I think that's a really good thing as well. After that, I'm putting Wild Soul. Wild Soul is just pumping in the end game. Really high uptime classes. It's doing so well. After that, I am still putting the 2 classes for the Aeromancer and Gun Lancer as well. Those 2 are always very wanted. Aeromancer gives movement speed, attack speed, and Gun Lancer provides a lot of utility. It's very nice. So that's going to be top 5. What am I going to put in the top 10 though? And I think it's gonna be our first back attacker, and that's gonna be the Predator Slayer. I think Predator Slayer right now got a lot easier. It's a back attack class, yes, hear me out. I think this class is so easy to play. You have max movement speed, you have like unlimited crit rate, you don't have adrenaline to use, so that's like a very annoying raven to keep up as a new player. Like you have 2 dashes, you have 2 counters. I think this class is actually really slept on, and it definitely deserves a top 10 spot. I think after that, it's gonna be the Artillerist. It can be Firepower, or it can be Barrage, which I'm putting right here, the Barrage one. The reason for Barrage is gonna be super simple. You are sitting in a wheelchair and you have a shield. You cannot fall off the map, you cannot fall down, you're literally just being chilling. I think it's a really good class, and you can as well like start with Firepower, move to Barrage later on, so I think it's a very good transition class. Ooh, what are we putting after that? if we go not based on bias of male classes, because I personally don't like male classes, I think it has to go to Pistolier, because enhanced weapon is pumping. It is always doing very, very good damage, but it's a back attack class. It's a back attack class. So you're going to learn with Pistolier and maybe eventually transition to a back attack enhanced weapon, and that's going to give you a lot of damage. So I think all of these are really good. Mayhem literally stays good forever. You can learn one class. Reflux is good because you can start off with Reflux and then eventually go into Igniter. We have ourselves going to be Wild Soul, just good in both specs. You can go to Swift builds. You can go to spec builds right away. It doesn't really matter. Wind Fury and Gun Lancer both are more utility classes, but they are very wanted and they are doing good as well. Predator Slayer and Punisher. Punisher is really pumping as well inside of endgame content as the spec class, but the swiftest one still does a lot of good damage and it's very easy to play. Both specs for artillerists are really good as well, especially you're learning. Go with a firepower, it's nice, and once you've known the gauge, you can go yourself barrage and do more damage. We have ourselves the perfect suppression. I think the Demonic Impulse is not that great, so you can probably just have to play this all time. So I think that one's good in top 10. And then we have ourselves the Emperor and Empress. And those, of course, Emperor is going to be the class to play when you want to learn the game, because it's a little bit easier. And then once you are an absolute sweat at Lost Ark, you can go to Empress and you can go pump a lot of damage. And then last but not least, of course, we have ourselves the Deadeye doing very easy work on Pistolier. And once you get yourself the knowledge of the game, you can go into enhanced weapon and start back attacking and do a lot more damage. I am very content with this top 10. I think it's good. Let me know what you guys think. You would put somewhere else. Of course, right now the other order is a little bit like muffled because I swapped stuff around. But like for this, I'm just purely going off my top 10 right here. I think it's good. Let me know what you guys would put in top 10 for like new returning players, and as well keeping in mind the end game of the game, what you would be able to transition to. I think our top 10 is pretty solid. Some other content, of course, that some people would put is maybe Deathblade, but I think Deathblade is just pretty hard to start off with. As well, it got a nerf this patch, and it's just not pumping as hard as it did in the previous one. If it was the previous patch, it definitely was like S tier would be like number 1, but because of the nerfs, I think it's like a top 20 angle, like mid top 20, like something like that. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a tier list for new returning players. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I hope this helped you choose some classes as well. There will be coming a tier list based on the best damage you can do inside of Lost Ark, and of course what classes those are. This is gonna be coming in like 2 or 3 days, something like that, so be sure to be on the lookout for that one as well. So if you guys have any questions, of course, be sure to join me on twitch.tv/ImDefild if you want to add some more. As well, maybe soon I'm going to start streaming on YouTube at the same time as on Twitch. So let me know what you guys think about that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again in around 2 days for another video. Take care.